Hello, minions! Long live the king. After weeks, and let's face it, months of teasing, we've finally introduced the very first boss to our game, Be My Horde. Quick refresher. In this survivor roguelike, you step into the role of Moriana, a seductive and powerful necromancer with the ability to resurrect every fallen enemy, forming colossal hordes of undead minions. The game is currently in early access, and we're continuously improving it and adding fresh content. Oof. Creating a survivor-style game might seem deceptively simple. You've got a character, enemies, abilities, then you toss players into the chaos and challenge them to survive as long as possible. But no matter how cool your mechanics are or how visually stunning your game looks, even the most loyal fans of the genre can get fatigued after a while. The Steam reviews for Be My Horde show us just how dedicated you are. Many players spend dozens of hours perfecting their runs, but making a 30-minute long level and keeping players engaged isn't easy. Gameplay throughout a run must change and evolve. That's why our level is divided into 3 parts. In the first few minutes, selecting the right opponents is crucial, and every small mistake can have significant consequences, triggering a snowball effect. Later, as the army grows in size, proper use of perks and map navigation becomes increasingly important. By the 20th minute, the player's army is so large that selecting specific opponents on the map becomes impossible, leading the enemies to start attacking Moriana instead. Additionally, mages appear, adding more variety to the gameplay. However, a problem arose around the 26th and 27th minute. Fighting hordes of enemies became somewhat monotonous, and after completing 2 events, the mages no longer provided as much excitement. We needed something new and thrilling to fill the game's final 3 to 4 minutes, and here comes Richard III Ovine, the king of the most powerful kingdom on Earth, strong as a bull, not the sharpest tool in the shed, a devoted sheep enthusiast, and of course, Moriana's mortal foe. Why is she running her crusade against this bearded ruler? We won't spoil it for you, so you need to play the game yourself to find out. But back to the game development stuff. Introducing this boss did more than just spice things up. It solved multiple design challenges. First, Richard adds a climactic confrontation, fixing the late game monotony we were talking about. He's our way to control the pace of the run and evoke excitement even after a long session. Second, boss fights are a time-honored tradition in gaming, a reward and a challenge rolled into one. Richard provides that sense of accomplishment players crave after surviving the level. And finally, many of you have asked for more story elements in Be My Horde. While we're not turning it into a sprawling RPG, we're excited to delve deeper into Moriana's world. Each boss will serve as a narrative tool, revealing more about our hero's motivations and the realm she's conquering. Occasional banter with Richard III Ovine gives players a glimpse into Moriana's background and personality. So this is why we decided to add boss fights to Be My Horde. The question is now, how did we do it to make it right? The unique feature of creating your own horde of zombie-like minions in Be My Horde is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it makes our game stand out among many similar survivor titles. A curse because that also means we can't simply borrow solutions from other games. We knew Richard's fight needed to be engaging without undermining what makes Be My Horde special. How do we avoid the situation when the king fights our minions, and we just stand next to it, watching the decreasing health bar? Here's how we approached it with 3 rules. Rule number 1, keep it simple. As the game's first boss, Richard had to be challenging but not overwhelming. Players need room to learn. How do I dodge his area attacks? What's the best strategy to handle his phases? Giving him an overly complex moveset would have been a mistake and also hard to implement in a game like Be My Horde, where the player's agility is not as important as in other titles. Rule number 2, maintain momentum. The fight had to escalate, and Richard couldn't stay the same throughout the battle. We implemented phases that increased in intensity over time, making him a growing threat to Moriana and her horde while staying within the bounds of the first rule. He's still not too complex. And rule number 3, dynamic gameplay. It wasn't enough to make Richard stronger over time. The fight had to evolve in meaningful ways to keep players engaged. At times, Richard stands alone, forcing players to manage their dwindling horde. At others, the screen is swarmed with reinforcements, giving players a chance to rebuild their army, but at great risk. The ebb and flow of chaos keeps the battle fresh. Another important factor is that Richard isn't just a generic, oversized knight or paladin. He has a unique look. From the outset, we envisioned him as the king of the realm Moriana is conquering. Our first inspiration was the King of all Cosmos from the Katamari video game series. We wanted him to be a bit goofy, unsuitable on paper to rule such a formidable kingdom. Later on, when thinking about his look, we turned more into King Fergus from Pixar's Brave. Big, strong, overweight, with a beautiful red beard. He looks mighty, but at the same time, he's simple and naive. Richard's visual design also reflects his kingdom and its units. He's primarily yellow like the peasants, wields weapons inspired by paladins and knights, has a beard like warriors, a cross on his belly looks like the one from priest's staffs, and he even has woolly armlets, a nod to his love of sheep. These details ensure he's more than just a bigger enemy. He's the culmination of everything players face at this level, tied together with charm and humor. And then there's his voice. Just as we did with Moriana, we wanted to let Richard speak. This decision not only enriches the story of Be My Horde by allowing for more dynamic dialogues, but also adds greater depth to this chubby ruler. We began collaborating with British voice actor Ryan Cooper, who turned out to be the perfect choice. Ryan masterfully balances Richard's anger toward Moriana with his underlying fear of her. He embodies Richard's duality, strong on the outside but soft on the inside, capturing it with remarkable precision.
Don't call me Dick! Knights, bring me her head, now!
After countless playtests and iterations, we're thrilled to introduce Richard III Ovine as the game's first boss. We were afraid that so many things could go wrong while giving life to him, but we overcame every obstacle. Lesson for today: if you want to add a boss to your game, ensure it isn't just for the sake of having a boss. He should be a pivotal part of the design. In Be My Horde, Richard solves pacing issues, enhances the narrative, and provides a fitting finale to the first level. He works because of that. That's it for today, minions. Let us know what you think about this devlog, and feel free to share ideas for future videos. In the meantime, challenge Richard III Ovine in Be My Horde. His kingdom awaits your conquest. Praise be Moriana.